So what we're going to make today is, I call it 6-hour slow cooked beef, where we've got some beautiful chuck steak. We're going to fry that all off with some vegetables and some aromatics. We're then going to slow cook it in here for in red wine for 6 hours. So what we're going to be left with is this beautiful fall apart beef. We're going to do a bit of a chef's technique, which is to basically remove all the meat using this slotted spoon. And then we're going to take the sauce and all the vegetables and we're actually going to pass it through this fine sieve. So then what we're going to be left with is this really beautiful sauce, which we're going to then reduce by half so it intensifies the flavour, becomes a little bit thicker, it has a lovely mouthfeel. So anyway, let's crack on. Right, let me show you what the ingredients are. I've got chuck steak, 2 sticks of celery, a couple of carrots and an onion, a whole bulb of garlic goes in there, some fennel seeds, some chili flakes, a bottle of wine, and I've got some bay leaves. So first things first, let's do the vegetables. So grab yourself a bowl. What we want to do is just chop these into kind of pieces like that. It's going to cook for 6 hours, so we want them to be roughly the same size. Let's just peel the carrots, top and tail them. Just cut them in half, and then we'll just cut those into, there we go. And then with the onion, we're going to cut it in half and then just peel off that first outer layer. Just trim that root there. So simply chop that off, pop that in the bin. Okay, so then slice down here. I'm going to go from the root just to keep all of this together. There we go. Okay, so those are our stock vegetables. You can add leeks in if you want to do as well. Right, next we need to do garlic. Take your bulb of garlic and basically squeeze down, and let's just separate. And then all I want to do is just crush them. We'll leave the skin on, so all we have to do is just gently crush it like that. Grab a bowl. Now for the meat. This is chuck beef, so it's really good for slow cooking. What you could do it with short ribs, or you could use kind of brisket, any kind of cheap slow cooking cuts. What you can see, it's got some really nice marbling running through it, which is lovely. And I'm going to slice through that big vein of fat there so that it's equally divided, so you haven't got one bit which is really, really fatty. Okay, look at that marbling running through there, that's beautiful. And I'm just going to cut it into nice chunks. It's going to be a little bit bigger, a bit smaller, doesn't really matter. Let's grab a bowl. Here's the bottle of red. For this dish, I normally use like a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Shiraz or a Merlot or something like that. So if you want something quite heavy, or a Tempranillo, that also kind of works. Get yourself an Australian Shiraz or something like that. So let's get that open. Now it is very important that you taste the wine before you cook with it. Okay, it's nice, very nice, very nice. Lots of fruit, lots of body. So what I forgot to do, we're going to go and fry all the vegetables off. We're going to fry them in oil first of all, but just so they get a lovely golden colour to help that along with the beef and the vegetables. We're going to add some butter, chilled butter, and we're going to cut it into little cubes. Now I think we're ready. Okay, let's bring all the ingredients over. We'll get our big frying pan on high, chef's pan on high. We're going to need tongs, and away we go. Just going to add a glug of olive oil, and let's give them a shake and just leave them. Add a little bit of salt, some pepper. So that's cooking nicely. Let's give it a little toss. Woohoo! Don't let them jump out. So the pan's nice and hot, so we just add a little bit of olive oil, swirl that around the pan, and then just with our tongs. Now it's really important that you don't crowd the pan, because what you want to do, it's like cooking a steak. You want it nice and crispy. Just add some salt. Let's add some pepper as well. And then we'll just add kind of 2 knobs of butter. There we go. In the meantime, let's give that a little shake, and we'll just add a knob of butter just to help these get golden. There you go. Oh, look at that. So let's just turn all of these over. But what we don't want to do is burn it. We want to make sure we don't burn it. Oh, look at that. You want to get this really nice brown colour on there, which is going to put so much flavour into the dish. Okay, so we've got our garlic. So we've got a whole clove of garlic. We're going to add those and all the spices, which is chili flakes and also some fennel seeds. I'm just going to go for 2 bay leaves. In there you go. Now the fennel seeds are going to give it this lovely rounded, not rounded flavour, but it gives a little aniseed note, which you don't really notice, but it really makes the dish. And then we're just going to do about the same amount, about a teaspoon of chili flakes. In there you go. And then also the garlic. Oh man, you can really smell that. It smells amazing, just really amazing. Let me give these a turn. Okay, we're just going to add the wine to this. So we're going to add about half a bottle. That's what chefs call deglazing. So there's going to be lots of lovely bits of vegetables stuck onto the side of the pan. So we're going to grab a wooden spoon and then just add in. It doesn't have to be half, but let's just get that going. Right, our beef is done. So what we're going to do is load this all into the crock pot. Right, so we've got our vegetables. Let's pour those in. Let's give that a little shake. Right, the meat looks amazing. So we're just going to pile that in there. What I want to do is deglaze this pan. What I don't want is all that fat. I'm going to pour that fat off. And I'm going to put this back on the heat. We'll turn it up. Now you can deglaze with red wine vinegar. You can do it with water. You can do it with wine. I'm just going to do it with water. Now, to be honest, you don't have to use red wine in this. You could just use water and it is going to be delicious. I like to use red wine because it adds a lot more flavour. Right, come have a look at this. Okay, and then just take the wooden spoon, right, and scrape the bottom of the pan, and that's just going to lift all those lovely roasted bits. Here we go. Right, I'm just going to pour all of that over. Delicious. We've got the rest of the bottle of wine. Just make sure everything's nicely covered. Then I'm just going to pop this into the crock pot. Okay, I've put this on the lowest setting and I'm going to put that on for 6 hours. So, if I'm perfectly honest, right, a lot of crock pot recipes you can just throw things in. But trust me, right, doing those simple things of sauteing off the vegetables, the aromatics and the beef means you're going to have something which has so much more flavour. And then once we've cooked that, let it cool, we're going to then take it out, reduce the sauce, and you're going to be left with basically like a restaurant quality meat and sauce, and lots of lovely recipes to go with it. We'll check on that in 6 hours. I've let everything cool down now, so it's completely cool. So we're going to do a bit of a chef's technique, which is to basically remove all the meat using this slotted spoon, and then we're going to take the sauce and all the vegetables and we're actually going to pass it through this fine sieve. So then what we're going to be left with is this really beautiful sauce, which we're going to then reduce by half so it intensifies the flavour, becomes a little bit thicker, it has a lovely mouthfeel. So we've got that and a beautiful sauce, and then we're going to make lots of different things with it. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you haven't got one of these chinois sieves at home. So if you haven't, get your normal sieve like this. If you can pass it through, but when you squeeze the vegetables down, a lot of the vegetables are going to come through in the puree, and because we want to have a nice kind of thin, beautiful sauce, what you can do is get some cheesecloth and basically just put that in your sieve and then squeeze the vegetables through that. It's not essential. If you don't do it, don't worry about it. It'll be absolutely fine. So come on over. I actually like to do this over the sink in case things start getting messy or we squeeze juice everywhere. It's a bit easier just to keep things clean. So come on over here. We're just going to ladle that into the sieve. Okay, let's pour the rest of that in. Whoa, there you go. I've got a nice metal ladle. and using the back of that. So if you could see, you've got all the vegetables in there. They're absolutely packed full of the cooking juice. So to get a bigger yield, to get loads more, we're going to give those a really good squeeze. Just by squeezing it, look how much is coming out. And you can also see it spraying around the place. So I like to, that's why I like to do it in the sink. As you can see, these little bits on the top, they're fat. Okay, and you need to have some fat in the sauce because that's going to give you that lovely mouthfeel. And this is going to become almost like a really great restaurant sauce. So keep that in. We're just going to pour that into the saucepan. It's not boiling away, it's just reducing nicely. Right, our sauce is finished reducing, and it's reduced by about a third. And come and have a look at it. But as you can see, like the colour has got darker. Tastes fantastic. The taste is actually really intensified. 6 hour slow cooked beef. As you can see, it's really easy to make. You've got a couple of little techniques in there, a couple of things which really improve the flavour. I've got 5 recipes using the beef. Please have a look at them. They're going to come on in a second. If not, if you want to create your own dishes, do some gratin dauphinoise to go with it, get some roasted potatoes on there, some butternut squash, anything like that will go for it. But have a go. It's really easy to make and really delicious. Thanks.